Welcome to Public Comment. I'm John Dunbar, former mayor of Yountville.
And I'm Alfredo Pedroza, farmer.
Thank you for joining us as we talk about politics, people, and whatever else is on our mind. But before we go inside, we have some disclosures to share with you. We're going to talk about events that we've participated in or things that are happening around the valley or wherever. Alfredo.
Like the fact that school's back in session, John. So I'm so excited and thankful for Napa Unified School District and some private schools, because we do both. But kids are back in school, which is beautiful. I want them to get a quality education.
That's good.
But before that, I know we went to an event this weekend. Heritage Fire. What do you think?
Up at Charles Krug Winery. It was a wonderful afternoon, and what was the food was amazing. There were chefs from all over the region.
Wagyu with
truffle.
But
caviar.
Caviar.
Yes, that was impressive. And there were two different very flavorful, spicy taco stations. There's a wide variety of live fire cooking going on. It was a beautiful venue, but also, did you notice the demographics were a little different than what we are used to, which was awesome.
I will tell you, so we got invited to this, and it was a Sunday, and I told Brent, I was like, this used to be our life. We used to go to everything, right? And I was like, I really don't want to go, but it sounds cool. So we went, and to your point, the moment we walked in, right, I wanted to be with the general admission people, but you love the VIP, so we tagged along with you to the special lines and special access, right? But we got there, and it was so interesting, and I mean this in a positive way. It was so diverse, right? People that looked like you, that looked like me, that looked like everyone. And I thought in a moment when everyone's bashing Napa that it's so unaffordable, you had an event where people were bringing lawn chairs, blankets, right? And it was a beautiful scene of what Napa truly is. Not what the writers that get paid to write about Napa, but what Napa is, man. And I thought it was well done.
I think, and I agree with everything you just said. I mean, the food was amazing. It was just a wonderful Sunday afternoon. And it's an example of creative events. And the fact that you and we know a lot of people from our elected lives and our activity here in the Valley. We were talking to people that we've never met before. And that was really refreshing, frankly, just seeing people that were coming here enjoying the Valley.
It was refreshing, John, but also it felt good though. Like people felt comfortable. You know, you and I've been to settings where it's like, ugh, a little too stuff, a little this. It felt good. It felt like people were having a good time. And to me, that's what I took away from that. Is like, this is Napa, right? And we're creating experiences. We're not here promoting Napa because it's not like this segment is sponsored by anyone, John. Like, it's what we feel. But like, how cool was that, man? So like, I left and we went home that day. I'm like, I'm proud of this, man. Like, this is Napa.
Well, and it was right on the heels just a week ago of the Town and Country Fair. Another opportunity to have a really wide, diverse population of folks coming and enjoying 4 days of agricultural education, of entertainment, live music. One of the things, not to mention the carnival rides and the fried foods, of course, but where else are you gonna be able to go hear the Yin Yang Twins on the Joe Anderson stage, and then as you're walking away, Jamie Foxx, yes, the comedian, actor, singer,
your name dropping,
is on a tiny little stage next to the carnival, and he's singing and he's talking to the crowd. It was like a pop-up VIP experience. It was so fun, and it was after 4 days of a wide variety of things for people to enjoy and to really highlight our agriculture here in the Valley.
I remember, the fair as a kid because it was the marker for school starting, right? And we'd go back to school shopping as kids, you put on your new outfits because you wanted to go and, see who's going to go to school and whatnot, right? But that's how I remember the fair. And now we were in Truckee the weekend before the fair, and we had all the intentions of coming back because Brendan wanted to see Banda. Like, there's going to be a Banda Carnaval, or I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
Sunday, and we wanted to go to that. And like, that's cool. Like, that's Napa. And so to your point, you have that in our backyard, right? So while people are out there to perceive and portray Napa as this, here are two experiences that are the complete opposite, man. So damn proud to call this our home, man.
It's been a real fun time to enjoy life in Napa Valley. So let's go inside and greet our guests.
Let me have one more puff of the cigar.
Fair enough.
Golf is bringing a different group of people to the valley.
It is a unique experience.
We awarded just over $250,000 to local charities.
We need those type of partnership opportunities.
Here's the thing about golf. No one ever claims to be good, and if they are, they're lying.
Fredo, we've got special guests today, Andy, and we're going to learn a lot about the PGA golf tournament coming up here at Silverado Resort. So, Andy, welcome.
You know, one of our marketing taglines is PGA Tour golf, and Napa is the perfect pairing. So, drinking some wine to talk golf with you guys couldn't be a better day.
First tee, look at us.
What's your handicap, John?
Golf. I'm down to a solid 19 right now.
You're competitive.
I'm more popular in the pro-ams because of if you factor in the handicap, the index helps out sometimes.
I'm not going to talk about your popularity. Yeah. So let's just move on.
Yes. But Andy, again, thanks for coming. I know with the tournament coming up in just a few weeks, it's got to be organized chaos for you, but thank you for being here. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into some of the details about the tournament.
Well, I'm a golf dad. I'm a recreational golfer. I was in college sports marketing for about 25 years, and 2022, after attending this event with my family multiple times, learned about the opportunity to work in professional golf, and found the company I work for named Sport 5, who operates the tournament, and was presented the opportunity to come in and be the executive director, and it was a rather quick decision to do it. And it's always fun to take over a job when, like, you know, you've been a part of it, you've seen it, you can bring the perspective of the spectator to what you want to build and what you want to grow. So it's been a great now 3-year run, and we're ready to rock and roll here in just a few weeks.
Well, you have a little more of a run up to this year with your name sponsor far in advance, as opposed to having to really do some last minute pivoting before. I hope to really get into some of those details about what is it like to herd all these cats. You've got corporate entities, you've got local sponsors, you have volunteers, and then you get into the professional golfers and all the other behind the scenes stuff. Just take us behind the curtain a little bit and let us know what is I don't know about a normal day for you, but what are some of your days like leading up to the tournament? And then we'll get into what it's like tournament days.
For about 48 weeks a year, I talk to the same 8 to 10 people about the same 8 to 10 things. And then for the last 30 days, I talk to 30 people about 100 different topics. And it could literally be one day having a conversation with the operations team. Hey, do we have enough porta potties for the amount of people we expect to show up? To, hey, can I close this mid 6-figure sponsorship deal to try to drive some revenue for the tournament? To, hey, can I reach out to one of the agents to talk about the players and what's their thought process, and how do I get player A, B, or C to consider coming to Napa? So that's the organized chaos. That's also the enjoyable part of the job, because when I print my calendar every night for the day before, I can see the blocks, but I can't predict what the challenges are going to be.
It keeps the calendar.
That's impressive. But this sounds an awful lot like our elected lives. Frankly, you think you know what's coming up the next day, the next week, and then all of a sudden you don't. And you just have to be ready for it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What are you talking about? Our lives are so simple, John.
Yeah.
Perfectly
predictable.
Yeah. But you said some things, Andy, that, you know, kind of John was teeing you up, but.
I get that. That was a pun.
Yeah. There you go.
That's what we're going to have to start toasting
but
to.
Part of it, though, right? You know, some of the outside looking in, like, oh, man, it must be so easy to get sponsors to come to Napa. The other one I'd hear is like, well, everyone loves coming to Napa. All the golfers' wives love it. So, can you tell us a little bit about what's true and what's not?
So the latter part's the easy part. The wives do call it their major or their Super Bowl. And the PGA Tour Wives Association, in partnership with Alpha Omega. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh.
The PGA Tour Wives Association partners with Alpha Omega, and Wednesday during tournament week, the wives and girlfriends go up there. They have a luncheon.
I did not know that.
Robin and Michelle do a fantastic job hosting them.
Robin,
they have some wine.
Right. Yes.
It's fantastic.
We should be drinking Alpha Omega right now.
Robin, there's an opportunity calling you.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so, no, I mean, you know,
wow.
They really do. And like that topic alone is interesting, talking about what we do for the players and their families and their wives, from, daycare at the resort during the day. So the wife or girlfriend or family can go follow the player on the course.
But you have to do that though. Like that's a
We
logistical
provide that.
thing. Wow.
Yeah, we provide that for the wives and girlfriends. We provide that. We do a yoga session on the mansion lawn. We do the
John wants to do
luncheon.
that.
Yeah, I'd like to join in on that one.
things. Yeah, yeah. Procore, a construction software company, donated a bunch of like construction toys and tractors and things. The kids were just having a ball in there. And we maybe don't see quite as many families here because the wives like to enjoy Napa too.
And they should.
And the players absolutely do. They'll go out Monday, Tuesday. Once they get into Wednesday, they start to lock in for tournament week. And, they have their spots they like to go back to. If
don't need
those
to
guys
name
were to let it
names,
rip, they may go to one tasting though, right? They're very healthy, very, very work focused, but they
Wine
love
is
the
healthy.
area.
Let's make sure that that's understood. Wine is healthy.
Good
It
for
helps
the
you
heart.
play. It always helps me play the more I drink.
I won't argue with you on that, John. I know you want to be argumentative, but I think we agree on this.
Yeah.
But I think part of the reason I want to bring that up is because Napa sells itself in a way, but it also requires a lot of energy to make it an experience that people want to come back to, especially with people that play around the world, go around the world, and yet they want to come to Napa. So I think Napa deserves kind of an attaboy for doing that, right? For having the special gem. But maybe about the sponsors, because I'm curious, like, so when you're pitching, right, you're getting people to come in and say, I'm going to invest in this. What's that like? And how has it changed maybe recently, if it has?
Our value proposition, if you want to call it that, is the golf tournament is a part of the sponsorship experience. And it's bring your clients, bring your guests for a weekend in Napa. You can watch golf by day. We have amazing restaurants. We have amazing wine connections. It's just one part of an experience you can provide to your clients that other companies can't. And that's what we've had the most success pitching in the last couple of years, is it's not just golf. And that's where we talk about being a perfect pairing that's truly what it is. And we also talk about, it's a community event that happens to be about golf. And we raise, the study's a few years old, but somewhere in the ballpark of $18 million in economic impact every year on, hotels, dining, lodging, hot air balloon rides, wine tastings, whatever. 4 days of Golf Channel coverage to a global TV audience in up to, over 50 million homes. I mean, that's
a lot of eyeballs.
That's a significant reach for Napa Valley.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the best images that I just still remember, it was seeing Golf Channel and that panoramic view of the valley with hot air balloons. And I'm like, how beautiful is this? Like, this is where we live. And you're putting that exposure out there in the universe, right? And you probably don't get thank yous that often, but thank you for doing that, right? Because you could go do this anywhere in the world, but you're choosing to do it in Napa. And we're pretty fortunate that we have organizations like Andy's that want to be part of it.
And I think it's one of those things that the common fan, or maybe the Napa Valley resident who may not be a diehard sports fan, sometimes doesn't connect the dots on, is I think there's roughly 32 NFL football teams, roughly 31 or 32 Major League Baseball teams. We're one of, and the last time I saw the number, it's 42 or 43, call it 43 for a rounding error. We're one of like 43 sites that gets to host a professional sporting event that happens to be about golf in a small community like Napa. And if you think about it, like the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Yankees or the Dallas Mavericks, they're never going to come to a market the size of Napa, but the PGA Tour can. And I think that's pretty darn cool.
Well, and now that you've teed me up for, I wanted to, first of all, we're going to get to the Ryder Cup and the fact that the timing of this tournament this year is pretty exceptional. But you were just touching on the experience that fans can have. It's an intimate experience at the North Course to be as close as people can be to some of the best, most talented golfers in the world. And you don't get that everywhere. It's almost as if everyone's inside the ropes. And then you do have some of the, tent experiences where you can relax, enjoy, like you say, entertain as a corporate owner, sponsoring certain, seating areas and certain
Your suites.
holes, suites,
Yeah.
but not all suites. Sometimes you've got little picnic areas along.
We should sponsor one, John.
fairways.
This podcast is
I
doing
think-
so well.
I think Public Comment should sponsor. Yeah.
Yes.
What's the rate schedule again?
We can't afford it.
Yeah.
But let's move on.
It really is. I remember the sound of the drives, for example, is something that you can't appreciate on TV. And you're 10 feet away from somebody hitting a drive 300 yards easily. And then we're like, yeah, there is a difference between that player and me.
Yeah.
But it's such a unique experience to be as close as you can be, to wander the golf course easily. And so tell us a little bit more about that experience and how unique it is.
So a lot of the attention goes to the big sponsor tents, right? And the 100-person tents and the 50-person tents. But I like to think about it like me as a spectator. I'm a father in a 4-person family, and professional sports is expensive. And with 18 holes, we have just over 4 miles of real estate on the course. We like to talk about being 4 miles of front row seating. Kids ages 15 and under are free. My kids are a little bit older now, but a few years ago, under that model, I could have spent $55 for my wife's ticket, $55 for my ticket. It's $110. My 2 kids get in for free. I can bring chairs and go out to hole 4, hole 5, and sit right on the green or right on the tee box. How much is that front row going to cost me in Oracle Park? How much is that front row going to cost me at Levi Stadium? Right. So there's a great value proposition to golf, and you can also get up and walk around and follow your favorite guys for 6, 7, 8, 9 holes. We know from Ticketmaster data, there's not very many people who walk for the full 18, but to go walk 3 to 4 holes, have a little glass of wine, have a little cocktail, get the kids a burger dog, and sit down and watch some golf. I mean, the value's unbeatable.
Now, when you talk about data, you got my attention. So do you track, Andy, or do you have data on who's coming to this event?
We do. Through Ticketmaster, we've got access to some pretty good data. We know, for instance, last year, 80% of the people came for the first time.
I love it because my phone rings all the time, man.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I told you there were a few people who had me when I was on Do Not Disturb mode, and that was one of them.
You're good.
And I think, I think off the top of my head, something like 80% of the people came from outside of a 30-mile radius. So it's bringing visitors and it's bringing revenue to Napa Valley.
And overnight guests in
Yeah.
a lot of cases.
But I think what's cool though, John, is, and we dealt with this when we were in office, right? It's like, oh, how do you diversify the people that are coming to Napa? And it's no different than when Bottle Rock did their thing, right? Golf is bringing a different group of people to the Valley, which is awesome. And we need that. We need those type of partnership opportunities to expose what this community does, right?
And if that's Captain Keegan Bradley, you're checking in with you about the Ryder Cup roster, you need to get back to him.
You're
We can
geeking out.
understand.
He has a special ringtone. That
Okay.
unfortunately
you
was
love
not
this. You love this right now.
I've loved the tournament
dropping.
since it was a senior tour with the Transamerica way back in the day.
Weren't you like announcing guests at one point or
I was
golfers?
an honorary starter on the 10th tee box.
See how I teed him up for
years
that?
as
See that?
mayor of Yountville. Thank you. Yes,
Did you butcher anyone's name?
I'm sure I did. I would check with the caddies, even if it looked like it was an obvious pronunciation. I would double check with the caddies every time.
That does not surprise me.
Because Smith sometimes is Smythe or whatever. And so I remember having a little trouble with Thigala the first time I read it, things like that. But
my first trophy presentation, 2022. My only hope was it was a name that I wouldn't butcher.
22, was that Max Homa?
Max Homa, easy
Yeah.
one.
But it could be Homa. It could
All
be.
right, let's
whatever.
move on. But you know,
Yeah.
one of the
Oh,
questions,
good Cal reference, by the way.
Yeah. Go
one, of
Bears.
the, one of the questions, you guys are both Bears, so we're going to move on.
I think we could toast to.
I worked there. I worked there.
Fine,
I could
all
not have
right.
gotten into
Okay.
Cal.
All right.
I worked there for 24 years.
I did not work there, and I would be allergic to the environmental department of the Berkeley Alumni Association. So we're going to move on. But you know, you talked about golf and the kids, and one of the things that I'm interested in is what are you doing to help kids get more involved in golf? Because I do think it's a great sport. But I'll tell you, we grew up playing soccer because it was the only accessible and reachable sport, right? 2 Latino parents. But I want my son to play, right? But sometimes it has the optic that it's a sport for the wealthy. And I don't think that's true, right? So is there initiatives, Andy, that I think golf in general, maybe just talking more globally, are doing? And is that good for the sport?
Getting kids involved with golf financially is a challenge. So I have a son who's now a sophomore at San Diego State. He was a high school baseball player, but he played golf recreationally growing up. My daughter is a senior in high school. She's going to play college golf. We grew up a golf family. It's expensive and it can be hard to do. So 3 of the charities that we're involved with help break this barrier.
Tell us more.
The Silverado Junior Golf Foundation does some things, awarding some financial support and helping grow the game of golf with high school golf in the areas and putting on some clinics. We partner with the First Tee of Sonoma Coast, which is our closest chapter here. And they'll be on site Tuesday of tournament week, helping us do a great event with the Boys and Girls Clubs. And then one of my favorite charities we're partnering with is called Youth on Course. And Youth on Course provides access for kids to play golf for $5. It's a $20 or $25 annual membership fee.
Is it like a local thing or a regional, or how does it?
Nationally, thousands of golf courses. And so I've seen my kids do it for the last 10 years, and they can go play golf for $5. And we live down in the Walnut Creek area there. They can play Boundary Oak. They can play Dabble Hills. They can play San Ramon Golf Club. Usually it's after 2 o'clock, after 3 o'clock, but
No way.
Well, they should be
for
at
$5
school anyway.
Yeah, during the summer weekends.
Yeah.
I mean, we did a family golf trip down to Monterey over spring break and we played Pacific Grove, the poor man's Pebble.
It's awesome. Actually.
And my green fee was $75. Both kids paid $5 each. We paid $85 for the 3 of us to play with darn near Pebble Beach views.
Well, the back 9 is as if it's Pebble Beach. It really is. It's ocean view, ocean front. It's awesome. And that's also the way you captivate the young player and cultivate the young player, giving them that kind of scenic experience, not just the athletic experience, not just in some cases the team experience. I know we've talked about that with a lot of different types of youth soccer and other team sports. This is technically an individual sport, but sometimes it is a team game, and they're still learning some of those dynamics.
Well, to your point, I remember, John, during the pandemic, right, when we shut everything down and golf was kind of making a push, and it got laced as or the optics were it's just the 1%ers wanting their golf, but you saw the value of what it meant for a healthy lifestyle. And I really believe it. Like, I thought it was legit, where people saying, hey, it's my time to go out and just get a mental break, or it's my time to go out and just swing. And you have to look at it that way, right? And I think that's a critical part of how golf fits. Right? I had no idea that there's opportunities for kids to get involved, and I think you should do that more and maybe publicize that even more, because I think you do want young kids, whether it's a team sport like soccer or something individually, sometimes you need both. Right?
Absolutely.
First tee is, sorry to interrupt you, but First Tee is kind of I think, number one
I didn't know that.
nationally recognized opportunity for youth golf. But I'm glad that you talked about a couple
Youth
of
on
the
Course.
others.
Yeah. First Tee provides opportunities. They provide coaching. They provide clinics. Phenomenal organization. Youth on Course is your easiest access point to get in, pay that membership, spend the $5, and our board. So the golf tournament itself is a 501c3 nonprofit. Our financials are technically owned by an amazing group called Impact Through Golf Napa Valley. Okay. And recently, about a month ago at our media day, we awarded just over $250,000 to donations to local charities. I think it was
Napa?
13 local charities. Yeah.
I was at that media day, and I remember 13 large checks.
Yeah.
And a very diverse set of nonprofits that were receiving that funding.
And growing golf to the next generation is one of the targets of Impact Through Golf. And that's why we support those 3 organizations: Silverado Junior Golf, First Tee, and Youth on Course.
Not that I want to hit a timeout, but I think sometimes we gloss over numbers like that, though, John. Like what you said, 250. What was the number?
Just over 250.
And that was just this year.
Correct. Yeah.
But that's $250,000 that got poured into Napa.
Yeah,
because you're choosing to do an event here.
Yeah.
Like, and
it wasn't just youth sports. It was news. It was Firewise, all kinds of
Firewise, Ole Health, Queen of the Valley Foundation, Boys and Girls Clubs, Jameson Humane News. And it's been really neat to see like what's happened with the evolution of our partnership with the Boys and Girls Clubs. So in our Visit Napa Valley Fan Village this year, we'll have the Boys and Girls Club STEM trailer out there. The tournament logo is on the back of the STEM trailer. We're one of the sponsors of the STEM trailer. Really cool concept. It goes from school site to teach kids about STEM. And we're also on Tuesday of tournament week, shifting an event that we did at the Boys and Girls Club's main office last year to the course called Putt Putt Pros, which is an open to the public community event.
I think that's your style.
Which
actually.
one?
Putt,
Yeah.
Putt Pro.
I am a
Putt
pro. The pro.
Yeah.
Yes.
We will have, you can join. We'll have one or two PGA Tour pros interacting with the kids. We'll have a couple different stations, chipping, putting, and Procore is going to bring out some robotics and some cool construction specific technologies that the kids can interact with. And we like the idea that it was at the clubs last year because we like the idea of bringing golf off property. But there's also a big advantage to bringing those kids in the community to the course, because maybe those are a lot of people who wouldn't be at the tournament Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Or they have never been.
But can check it out. Yeah.
Or have never been to a golf course, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that's the opportunity that you have, especially your partnership with the Boys and Girls Club, because I was on the board, so I know the demographics. You probably have some kids there that have never been on a golf course.
Yeah.
So if you could create an experience or a platform for them, that can be life-changing. Beyond cents and dollars, just the ability to say, I did this. It's pretty magical.
Yeah. And whether they know golf or not, like they get to meet and interact with two professional athletes. And it's pretty neat to see the questions they ask and what they do. And it's a great community event.
What are you seeing in the demographics of the fan base? Are you seeing anything change? Is it kind of traditionally the same? I'm wondering about live golf events, or this one in particular, and whom are those people coming out to the course to watch as opposed to stay home and check it out on TV or stream it? Because so many times people are captivated by their devices instead of the real live experience. Are you seeing multi-generations out there? You talk about being a golf family. Are you seeing families out there that are enjoying watching the game?
I'll say anecdotally, yes. I don't have any hard data yet. I know over the course of this year, PGA Tour TV ratings are up, and there's a new CEO of the PGA Tour. And I think one of the things they're going to look at is TV ratings are probably kind of an archaic way in today's world to really value who's following you. Where I think golf is really starting to grow by leaps and bounds. And my kids who are 20 and 17 watch are the creators and the YouTube watchers. And, whether that's
podcasts,
it's
Wesley Bryan,
podcasts, exactly.
podcast, Wesley Bryan and the Bryan Bros and Grant Horvat and Bryson DeChambeau and some of those guys. I mean, my kids won't watch like a 60-minute Netflix show, but they'll watch these guys play golf for 2 hours, and they play with great pros. And my daughter will watch when they put Nelly Corda, and my son will watch when they play with, funny guys. And the tour's done a good job adapting to that. So this next week, the week this airs, will be the Tour Championship. And the tour has another creator classic where they're inviting these players out and they play in their own tournament. And they've got some shared rights to the
that's cool.
Use of the content. But I think that's where it's growing the most. And that's where you'll see in the next 5 to 10 years, how that age range, whether you call it 12, 13 up to 25, are getting more and more involved with the sport. And
I think, not only is that great to hear, but I think there have been very creative streaming platform activations. I don't know if it's fair to say F1, Formula One was maybe the one that really launched, Drive to Survive, captured the literally inside the car experiences and the personalities of Formula One racing. And then you started to see the NFL going, preseason hard knocks. And then you see the players throughout the season, you see them as people.
And then it grew into full swing.
And full swing, I was going to say,
on Netflix.
Just finished watching the most recent series there. And you are humanizing these players. Some sports, they're hiding behind helmets, they're in cars, whatever it is, not hiding behind, they're wearing helmets. But here you're
for protection,
and baseball, you're not quite as close to the action a lot of the times, but here you do literally hear them chatting on the tee box or down, talking about what, distance they have and how much wind they have, and you're seeing the nuances of it, but also the personalities of the players. Even the caddies now are starting to get recognition because of all that exposure. And I think it's all great for the game.
Absolutely. And you look at the lineup of some of the players that have been featured on the various seasons of Full Swing. Most of them have played here. You know, Joel Damon became the famous feature in season 1. Joel's been here for the last several years, and Justin Thomas has been here, and I think Minwoo Lee was in that most recent season. Minwoo was here last year, and Sahith was in that, and Max, and you know, most of those guys have been here, and that's what's really neat about our tournament is not only can you watch some of the current stars, but you can watch guys on the very early upward trajectory. You know, this was Sahith Theegal's first win 2 years ago. I think it was at the time in 2022. Max Homa's maybe second, you know.
He went back to back too.
Yeah,
I think,
2022,
right?
2023. I want to say it was his second or third win. And, you know, you look at a young Colin Morikawa played here. John Rahm played here as he was coming up. Like, if you look at the world top
Mickelson
30.
was here a few years ago.
Mickelson was here several years. I mean, the vast majority of those guys have played here at some point.
Well, it's not the hardest sell, I'm sure. Like we talked about earlier.
It's a beautiful course.
It's a beautiful course, beautiful valley. But there have been some also big names locally. You know, we have the connections to Cal, and we've seen several Cal players. You just named off most of them. Michael Kim would be another one.
Michael Kim has signed up.
He just had a great run at the BMW just to get into the final round of the FedEx Cup. And is it McNeely, I think, from Stanford? We'll name one Stanford grad alumni, I guess.
You did your homework.
We know a little bit about the local sports. I remember Cal won the national championship. I think it was 2004, if I remember correctly, when I was still at Cal, and it was amazing to see that program at that level. Stanford has been successful, obviously, and some of the best players in the world have come from not only California but even the Bay Area, and so there's a huge support system for the experience, golf in general. We have some beautiful golf courses here for people to enjoy too. So
there's only one that's the best, which is Silverado in District 4.
Of course,
John.
Yes.
But a question for you, Andy, is, you know, you talk about all this, you know, and your performance is, you know, the day of or the days of the tournament, but I can only imagine how hard it is to put on an event. How many people do you guys have again come to the tournament?
Players?
Yeah, overall.
144 players.
And how many guests do you think show up?
Spectators, between 15 to 20,000.
So you have to plan an event, let's just call it an event, for that many people. And I think we enjoy it because we get to go walk around and have food and drink some incredible wine. But maybe kind of walk us through how fucking hard it is. And don't name names, I will. But it's not easy, man. So just give us a little bit of color of.
Well, there are a lot of moving parts, but also there's regulation. Like we talked about, PGA has a lot to say about it. Then you've got various government agencies that you have to, get along with. So
you don't have to get along with them.
But it is a unique experience here. So that's also one of the challenges, I think, to your point, how the community accepts it and supports it, because it is such a unique experience.
It's a lot of different stakeholders that the me's in the golf world get to manage, right? and so you got to keep your sponsors happy. You've got the fans who are buying tickets. You got the 144 players, and making sure from the meals we provide down to the 4 different types of lettuce and the fat-free salad dressings and the 2 different organic proteins and what they get for breakfast. I mean, there's a specific guideline and a checklist for what is requested of their food and beverage experience, to managing the relationship with Silverado and the great leadership and the members there, because we're coming in for a 2 to 3 week period and we're building a circus tent,
Yeah.
And we're changing holes and rerouting things. Right. And then, the county and CAL FIRE and sheriff and, ambulance requirements,
That's
and all of those things. So it's definitely a lot of constituents to manage. on a daily basis.
Now, who's the politician? at
No,
this
look,
table?
I will tell you because I used to live out there. I'm still a member. There's a lot, right? There's a lot of government involvement, and you don't need to opine. But what I will tell you is you guys continuously deliver, right? Every time we've gone, it seems like it's well managed. But just know that I think some people know that it takes a lot to put that on, and I think overall people appreciate that. I think the opportunity is how do you expose more people to what you do, right? Of how beneficial this is to Napa, not just the people coming, they probably come more often, but the eyeballs, right? The viewership of what this means, the partnerships of charity. There's a lot of storytelling there. And I just hope you do more of that, right? Because sometimes we tend to gloss over the things that work well. And you just get the criticism for the thing, or you hear about the criticism, like the parking. Suck it up. You're there for 2 days, 3 days, move on, right? I can say that. But I think we're very fortunate for you to be here, right? I think we just need more of the positivity out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's been a focus, that we've tried to convey the past 3 years is that economic impact, the charity impact, the evaluation on Napa Valley being branded on 4 days of Golf Channel coverage to a global audience, right? Like that's substantial. And how many other events locally can do that?
I think they do such a great job of with their B-roll that they have when they're coming back from commercial break, and you get those panoramic views, you get the balloon perspective, and now drones can make that all happen too. So it really does highlight the beauty of the Valley. But before we let you go, cannot skip over the fact that this is a very unique year with the Ryder Cup, and that.
What does that mean for someone that's not?
Well, and I'll let Andy explain a little bit of the prestige and the magnitude of that event, but also the fact that the timing of ProcoreChampionship just a couple weeks before Bethpage Black in New York hosts the Ryder Cup. We're going to see almost the entire Ryder Cup squad here in Napa. So
I hope so.
We're counting on
Yeah.
as many. They're saying they're coming, and at some point they'll be contractually obligated to do so. But just about that dynamic and the branding that adds when you have this international competition just a couple of weeks after you have a lot of those players here.
It's substantial. So the Ryder Cup is an international team competition that puts Team USA against Europe.
Oh,
and this is
they're going down.
Unique thing about golf. Like, you don't have to be a golf fan to watch this and enjoy this, because the rivalries involved of Europe versus the US, right? We're going back hundreds of years.
Bad behavior everywhere. It's awesome.
In this political moment, probably a little bit more.
Yeah, it could be. And so in the last couple of years, and it's really been our board from Impact Through Golf that's helped try to change this narrative, is some viewed our position on the schedule as a weakness. And the Tour Championship, which is, call it their end of season. It's not really the Super Bowl. It's not as big as the Super Bowl, but the Tour Championship, which is the end of the season-long FedEx Cup race, wraps up in Atlanta next week. And then there's a 4-week gap between the Ryder Cup. And so we, and with a lot of help from our Impact Through Golf board, have said, how do we turn this into a positive? How do we reach out and build relationships with the leadership of those teams to say, hey, maybe taking 4 weeks off is not in the best golf interests of the players. And we happen to be positioned right in the middle of that schedule. And we know we can do an amazing job for your wives and girlfriends and family members. Why don't you guys, and your corporate partners, why don't you guys consider coming out and playing and keeping sharp, playing competitive PGA Tour golf while bonding? Because Alfredo, the unique thing about the Ryder Cup is if you look at two guys who are going to be on the team, let's go JJ Spawn and Xander Schauffele. I mean, they may compete head to head going down to the wire at the US Open, and then come Ryder Cup team, they're playing in an alternate shot format, and they're buddies. They compete against each other for 51 weeks, and then they're supposed to be buddies, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like when they go to the Olympics, they're a team, and they have individual competition, and then they have team competition.
Yeah.
And so it's certainly bragging rights, huge bragging rights to do that. Europe versus
I think that's cool. I think now that you've explained it, I think you're in a position of leverage, quite honestly. Right?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. And so now, what we've heard and where we are to date is, what we've heard in the media is that there's speculation that most of the players intend to come. And Keegan Bradley, who's the captain, has come out to say that, the Procore Championship would be an ideal setting to bring his team to come together to play golf. And now for us on the tournament side, it's just a matter of waiting. Okay, who's going to officially sign up and when? We can't officially comment on any specific player until they've signed up. We're very optimistic that we're going to have some or a lot of these guys play. And if we do, it will be the best lineup of players that this tournament's ever seen.
That's all.
That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great closure, John.
Well, and we'll see probably the largest number of spectators.
Potentially, absolutely, yeah.
With that. So I know that you're going to need volunteers. However many hundreds you have, you're going to need more. How do people go about, one, volunteering and also buying tickets?
Both things are available at ProcoreChampionship.com. Volunteers, we're scheduled to have about 725 volunteers.
Whoa.
It's a massive number.
All locals?
Vast majority
That's
local.
awesome.
And that, that's just a great separate story by itself. The fact that these folks give their time, donate their time,
Good
and
job,
they're out there
Napa.
with us 5 a.m. till 8:00 at night. The two biggest areas of need we have are on the hospitality committee. I mean, making sure our sponsors show up and get some great wine and welcome them and be the Walmart greeters in Napa.
We would drink the wine though. Let's be honest.
One for you, one for me.
As long as you're saving some for them, you're good to go.
I think we should do a remote.
Okay, you're thinking
on the hospitality tent
on the 17th hole right there. Let's do it.
All right.
Or give a little plug out to visit Napa Valley. Do it in their 10 on the 18th hole.
Are you doing the beers on the 16th?
No, the other committee.
Crazy.
The other committee we need help with is gallery management, and in a nutshell, gallery management keeps our patrons our patrons and players safe. And whether that's the quiet paddles or the ushers or making sure people walk around the course, because if we do get the guys coming that we hope to get, crowds are going to be substantial. And we're going to need a little bit more help there. The most popular volunteer committee, and I laugh because I'd probably do the same thing, the driving range attendants. We don't need any more help with people delivering the golf balls.
Standing there watching
John
player
here.
He was
so eager to sign up for that. I know you were.
Well, one thing I don't want to forget, you have special activations for first responders and military also. I know that's a very big deal here in the Valley.
Yep. Let me give you a couple ticket plugs. Thank you for teeing that up.
There we go.
John was waiting for that.
Pun.
Yeah. Thanks to the generosity of two sponsors who have chosen to remain anonymous. We offer free tickets for active and retired military and first responders. Fantastic thing. They could go all 4 days if they want to. We welcome them to come out. Friday, we are partnering with Folds of Honor, which is a great foundation that provides scholarships to children of fallen soldiers. And we'll have some red, white, and blue pins, and we'll do the national anthem before they tee off. And just for us participating, they award 13 scholarships to kids in the local area. And like I said, kids 15 and under are free. We've got a college student discount, and we're branding Saturday as our college theme day. Wear your Cal Bears gear. The other school down in Palo Alto, they can wear their gear.
Charge them more.
College Sports Sunday. And then, a neat one, Procore, coming from the construction software business, the trades and those who work in construction is important to them. So Sunday, we encourage our fans to wear orange in support of all of the men and women in that industry who builds our roads, bridges, schools, offices, and homes.
Well done. All right.
They thought of everything.
Cheers. Andy,
Cheers. Thank you for having me,
thank
gentlemen.
you for sharing,
it.
and looking forward to seeing you on the course.
Hit him straight, John.
Cheers.
Which you don't.
Alfredo, I really enjoyed the conversation we just had with Andy McDowell. I know maybe I'm a little bit more of the golfer than you are. I know you try.
Are you trying to say because your skill set's better?
You try really hard. I know.
Judge me by effort, John, not by outcomes.
What do
Isn't
you
that
think?
appropriate for the
Exactly.
society we're in?
What do you think of talking to Andy? And he's got, when this is airing, publishing, he's only a couple weeks away from putting on one of the biggest tournaments of the year with the ProcoreChampionship.
Like I think it's awesome, right? Like the economic impact, the charitable giving, but like they're choosing to do this, right? And he's a very nice man. Like he didn't talk about the challenges of what it's like to get a special event permit, and you have to deal with all these agencies and departments, and everyone's like, "Are you gonna pay this? You're gonna pay this?" And here they are, like doing an incredible thing for Napa, getting volunteers engaged. Some of the organizations that they have to get kids involved in like golf, that's awesome. Like partnering with the Boys and Girls Club, they're doing that. And here they are, and instead of giving them the red carpet, it's like we're saying, you got to jump through hoops to have the benefit of doing something here. Like, what gives?
I will credit Silverado Resort also because it's been decades of professional golf here in the Napa Valley. You go way back to the senior tour, now they call it the Champions Tour.
Are you playing in that?
I am qualified. I am overqualified, not with the skill level, just the age level. But we've had professional golf here for decades.
Yeah.
And now with the Procore sponsorship, they're able to, and Impact Golf, they're able to attract some of the best players, not only in the US, but in the world. And the fact that this is just a couple weeks before the Ryder Cup this year, we're looking at having the highest level of ranking that they've ever had of their players.
I think it's an incredible thing, right? And maybe it's just the day that I'm feeling, but like we celebrate this, and this is an incredible thing that's happening in our community, and all the electeds will be there. But I bet if you asked Andy how many electeds reached out to him to help, what do you think the answer would be? Zero.
Well, I know at least one former elected has been
we heard that.
helping out.
But the whole point though is like, John, I think we got to change the tune that it's okay to welcome and accept things like this. It's not that you're a 1%er or that it's elitist, but they're creating good. And I think there's this moment in society that we're going through that we should be welcoming things like this.
Well, I want to just highlight again when he referenced, and I was at the media day when they had the 13 nonprofit organizations, wide range of organizations from Napa Valley that are receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Is it $250?
$250,000 shared between those.
Is that a condition
organizations.
of approval or something? It's not, right?
They are raising that money to give to the community.
In addition to the fees they're paying and all that, right?
Exactly. And so it is absolutely a community event. Volunteers they have several hundred volunteers that mostly are local residents. And so also I like the fact that he did highlight the affordability. You can have a whole family going for a very reasonable amount of money. Kids under, I think it was 15, are at a reduced rate. Seniors are invited to go in. First responders, military, they've all had special opportunities because they get the value. It's not just a professional golf event. This is a community event that happens to have some of the most elite golfers in the world coming to play here in the Valley.
Well, and to me, it often gets labeled as they write a check as the price of admission. I don't think that's the case here, man. I think they genuinely care, and we got to get beyond that. Like, we're privileged to have this happen in our backyard. That imagery of Napa, right, with the hot air balloons, the panoramic views of our vineyards, right? This is what we call home. Like, and we're not doing this because we're electeds, right? We're doing this because we actually believe it. Like,
and I guess we forgot to ask if Andy was going to invite us to play in the Pro-Am on the Wednesday. I guess we should call him back and see if he's got two spots.
That's actually very rude of him, now that I'm thinking about it.
I agree. Well,
All right.
We'll follow up.
There you go.
Cheers.